Hello sweet friend, welcome back to my kitchen here at Sweeten Homestead. Today I'd like to share with you how I make homemade yogurt and granola from scratch. These are two very simple and quick recipes that offer better quality ingredients. They're all around better for you, and in my opinion, they are more delicious than their grocery store counterparts. For the yogurt, you will need 1/2 gallon of milk. I am using raw milk, but pasteurized milk will work just fine. Keep in mind though, the fattier the milk you use, the thicker the yogurt will turn out to be. I am using a Crockpot Method here, but there are others you can use as well that will get you the same results, and I will make sure to put them in the description for you. So I'm going to get my milk heating up in my crock pot over low heat. And I'm going to be checking this about every 15 minutes until my raw milk reaches about 110 to 115 degrees Fahrenheit. You don't want it to get any hotter than that, so anywhere between 110 to 115 is great. If you are using pasteurized milk though, you will need to heat your milk to 180 degrees. Each time I check, I give it a stir to make sure it heats evenly and no burning happens. You will need a thermometer. These are a very handy tool in the kitchen. I use it quite often. I will make sure to link one for you down in the description. While we wait for the milk to heat up, let's get started on our granola. These ingredients here are part of my base recipe for granola. So that includes rolled oats, honey, maple syrup, coconut oil, salt, vanilla, and cinnamon. And then I add in about 1.5 cups to 2 cups worth of add-ins, and you can use whatever your heart desires. Today I am using pecans and some pumpkin seeds, but you can do things like coconut flakes, chocolate chips, dried fruit, you name it, go ahead and throw it in there. Let's start by mixing all of our dry ingredients together. First would be 4 cups of oats. Next will be 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Followed by 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. And you can omit this if you're not a big fan of cinnamon. I'm going to add in my pecans and my pumpkin seeds. Like I said, about 1.5 to 2 cups worth of add-ins. Just going to stir this all up, and then we'll work on our wet ingredients. The first of our wet ingredients is going to be 1/2 cup of coconut oil. This is going to need to be melted. I'm going to add in some sweetener now. You need about a half cup. I am choosing to use maple syrup here, but you can also use honey. I am going to add in some honey as well, about 2 to 4 tablespoons worth. The last ingredient here is 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Pouring the wet ingredients into the dry and giving this a really good stir. You want to make sure everything is really nice and coated. My oven has been preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I have a parchment lined cookie sheet ready to go. I'm going to get my granola on top of here, and I'm going to bake it for about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to stir it well, press it down again, and then I'm going to continue to bake it for another 10 to maybe 15 minutes. You do want it to be golden brown, but you don't want to over bake it, and it can happen pretty fast, so keep an eye on it. And keep in mind, it will continue to crisp up as it cools down. Here it is in all of its golden glory straight out of the oven. This stuff will fill your home with the most heavenly of aromas. It is great as a snack on its own, obviously wonderful over yogurt. I also like it with some milk poured over it, and it's quite delightful on top of ice cream. I like to store my granola in a mason jar with an airtight lid just on my pantry shelf. It'll stay good that way for about 2 weeks. If you would like to make this in bulk, you can actually freeze this. You can keep it in the freezer for up to 3 months and pull it out as you need it. Keep in mind though, if you are using any dried fruit in this, those can freeze solid, and we don't need anyone breaking their teeth, so make sure it comes to room temperature before you try to eat it. Turning our focus back to our yogurt. The milk has been going here for 15 minutes. Like I said, I always stir every time I check. And we are shooting for about 110 to 115 degrees with raw milk, 180 degrees for pasteurized milk. And after the first 15 minutes, this was registering right around 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Another 15 minutes passed and we're right around 100 degrees. And after the third go around to 15 minutes, we were right where we needed to be, about 113 degrees. So now I am going to put the lid back on, unplug it, allow it to come back down to about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. If you are using pasteurized milk, you'll want to wait until it comes down to about 110 degrees Fahrenheit before doing this next step. You are going to need a 1/4 cup of plain, nothing added to it yogurt, but you want to make sure it has those live active cultures in it. That is what is going to inoculate this milk and turn it into yogurt. So after the temp has come down, I am going to take some of that warm milk and add it into my yogurt, combining that well, and then adding that back into the rest of the milk. Now you can purchase active yogurt cultures. It's like a dry mix, and I can link some down in the description for you. This is just how I've always done it. It works well for me. I just continue to do it this way. And the nice thing is, after you've made your batch of yogurt, you can always reserve that 1/4 cup from your batch to use to make your next batch. So it's only a one-time purchase of that yogurt. We are going to put our lid back on and cover this either with a nice big towel. Here I'm just using a blanket. We're going to get this all snug and tight and allow this to sit for 12 to 24 hours. The longer you let it sit, the more sour it is going to taste. We like it right about the 24-hour mark. After 24 hours, here is what it looks like. You can eat it just as it is now, especially if you don't love thicker yogurt. In our family, we like thick yogurt. So I am going to take this and I am going to strain out as much of the whey as I can. So I just have a nice big bowl, a colander on top, and then a cheesecloth that will go in the colander. And I am just going to transfer all of my yogurt over into this bowl, and I'm going to allow that whey to separate from the yogurt. If you're not going to do this step, you can just go ahead and eat the yogurt as it is. You can sweeten with maple syrup or honey. You can throw in some vanilla. And another thing I like to do, especially if you have a lot of extra jams and jellies like I do, that's a great way to sweeten and flavor your yogurt at the same time. You can flavor the entire batch one way. I like to leave the big batch plain and then flavor as I go. The yogurt will keep in the fridge for about a week or two, although it usually gets eaten up long before then. And here is what we're working with after a few hours of letting the whey strain out. We're left with a good bit in there, and this is good stuff. Don't get rid of this. There's so many good for you probiotics in here. So you can add it to smoothies, you can use it to start ferments, you can soak grains in it, you can give it to your animals. There's lots of other things that you can do with it as well. So definitely hold on to this stuff. I had an opened jar of strawberry rhubarb jam in the fridge. I just decided to put a dollop of that in with my yogurt to sweeten it and flavor it. Topping it off, of course, with our homemade granola. some fresh cut fruit. I always top it off with a drizzle of honey as well. Friend, thank you for joining me in the kitchen today as we made this homemade yogurt and homemade granola. I hope these recipes are helpful to you. I hope you enjoy them as much as we do. As always, don't be afraid to leave questions down in the comments. I will try my best to get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I hope you have a wonderful, blessed week, and I'll see you next time. Take care.